Another exclusive live session with the Hype Magazine.
You need to stop what you're doing. Pay attention.
World famous Hype Magazine. Going down right now.
Hey, what's good, everybody? This is Jerry from the Hype Magazine. We're on the line today with a special young lady. Her name is Melissia Renee. She's a mother, an entrepreneur, brand ambassador, and she's a managing partner for the Money Team. You know, she's out there in Vegas making it happen. Welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
It's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. So, despite your startling visual presence, you're also an entrepreneur. So let's kick that off with that. And from the outside looking in, let's talk about who is Melissia.
Yes, I actually have my own clothing boutique out here in Las Vegas. And it's not just any clothing boutique. I wouldn't say just, that. I actually have a boutique in the front, and in the back I had a full, hair service where you can, come in, you can get your hair done, you can get your makeup done. Only thing was the makeup part was a little bit, not the makeup, I'm sorry, the hair part was just a little bit hard, only because it's just, trying to keep those people in there. If you had people that wanted to pay booth rent, they didn't want to be there, and the people who didn't want to pay booth rent wanted to be there. So what I did was I actually made a choice to go ahead and take that part out, and then I incorporated a nail bar, and that is going much better. So, like I said, you can come into my store, and you can, get your shop on, and then you can go in the back and get your nails done. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop.
A boutique beauty bar. It's called Divana Love.
Yeah, it's called Divana Love Boutique and Beauty Bar. Out
there in Vegas. And you specialize in, what you say, trendy women's fashion and select designer apparel.
Clothes, shoes, accessories, all of that.
Okay, so since I'm not a fashion guy, right, just tell me who you're carrying so these ladies can understand who we're dealing with.
Tell them what? I'm sorry?
I said tell them who you're carrying so we can let these people know who we dealing with.
What do you mean who I'm carrying?
Your brands. What lines are you carrying inside your?
I don't have any, it's not like you wouldn't go in and find any exclusive top of the line. It's just people that I have vendors that I deal with one-on-one particularly, and that's just how I do it. So there's nothing. I'm actually looking to get a premium denim line in there, and we also might end up doing Giuseppe's, a couple of Christian Louboutins, but that's going to be for my second location because I'm actually going to be opening my second location here probably in October.
Yay.
Yay.
Black female-owned business expanding. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
love that.
Definitely.
Love that. So will you put a 2 behind it just to give it is it going to be Divana Love 2, or will it just be Divana Love?
I think it's just going to be Divana Love.
Okay.
But I don't know. I might have to play around with it, because I'm going to have it's going to be a little bit more exclusive. So, we might have Divana Love something on the end. I just don't know yet.
Yeah. I was asking because as I'm looking at your EPK, you're wearing some very sharp outfits. You clean it in the Safeway chicken. That's what my grandpa used to say. And whoever whipped your hair, I thought it was braided across, but it's not. So, if you need somebody to give you a hand, just from a brother saying, okay, this person is straight, visually striking, and all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, hey, Melissia's got what you need. That's what I'm seeing from the outside looking in. You know what I mean? So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So talk to me about your journey, and we'll get to the Money Team separately, but because you're able to stand, and you do stand on your own as an entrepreneur. So let's concentrate on your journey as a business person, and I know that you came through. You're the son of an Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service. But you had, some challenges that a lot of women go through, young pregnancy and but you didn't give up, even though I know that you came close to that. So let's talk about that journey from the dark time, the most challenging times, not dark, most challenging times, to now your success and triumph at this point.
Yes, just becoming a mother at the age of 16, that was something very, very difficult that I had to actually go through. But I would say, I always had a very, very strong support system behind me, which were my parents. They never, not once, influenced me to do anything other than have my son. So, with that, being able to have them as a support system, once I did have him, I was like, well, you know what, I can't put this on them. They're already still taking care of their 2 children because I was still 16 and my brother was 17 and, trying to, take care of their household. So I was like, you know what? I got to drop out of school. I got to go ahead. I got to try to find me a job and, bring some income in because my parents weren't rich by far. We were just middle class people just living. They were kind of paycheck to paycheck. And so I took the responsibility to go ahead and get out there and get a job and start working. But actually my first job I was 13. So I already knew kind of young that I always wanted to have my own and I wanted to make money and I wanted to, be able to kind of be independent. So I, like I said, I dropped out of school and I continued to work and I pushed through everything. And like I said, if I wouldn't have had the support, I think it would have been a lot harder. So a lot of times people ask me, well, how hard was it, having a child at 16? And I'm like, it wasn't hard at all, but I had a support system. And if you don't have that, I couldn't imagine what it would be like. But, there's plenty of people out there who don't have a support system, and it's very, very challenging for them. So, I made do with what I had, and I made a way. And I told myself that I would never give up. So I didn't care how many jobs I had to hold. I always kept a job, and I made sure to take care of my responsibilities. Are we still there?
You know what? I'm sorry. I put you on mute because I have a habit of talking while I'm making notes as I'm listening to you.
Okay.
What I was saying was intestinal fortitude. It's something that's kind of rare with younger people at this point. I say younger people because I'm 53, and
okay. Well, you're not older, but
well, okay. No, I'm not that old. But just watching, people give up on a day-to-day basis. Stories like yours are inspiring to say, hey, you know what? Yes, things get dark. And as things begin to go good, sometimes you get knocked back a few steps. But if you remember that, hey, I made it to that point on my own with my knowledge, my know-how, my resources, and I can get there again and surpass that,
yes.
I think that's the story that our young people need to see, not just young women.
Yes.
But just young men, too. I'm a father of 6, so your story is, something that I would take pride in sharing as an example. So you've done it, you're making it, and so to whom much is given, much is required, is what they say. And I see that you're strong in the community with different organizations. I'd never heard of the Shade Tree. I actually, my first time coming out of the military, I was in Vegas. I got robbed, and I actually spent a couple of days at the Las Vegas rescue mission. So the fact that you're supporting them, just caught my eye as well. And Safe Nest. Now, I'm presuming that Safe Nest is maybe a domestic violence. Tell me about that one.
The Shade Tree. The Shade Tree. Are you talking about the Shade Tree, right?
Yeah,
you haven't heard of?
I hadn't heard of them. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, the Shade Tree is actually a women's shelter out here, and it's for battered and abused women who just are just homeless. So I actually just not too long ago, what I created at my store was this thing called a big bag giveaway. And so, like, I would have people who come in for, let's just say, a bachelorette party, and we do a sip and shot. And I would do a big bag giveaway, and I would just put a whole bunch of gifts in this bag and, donate it to the bride. Or, if a birthday girl came in, and I would do that. Well, what I did was a 20-bag giveaway, and I did that, and I donated all the stuff to the Shade Tree. So, I feel like, there's a lot of women who are trying to get back on their feet and, maybe don't have the clothes to go to an interview and, do what they need to do. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to, put these clothes to use and take these up to the Shade Tree and donate it. And, personally, went up and gave the bags myself. And, just wanting to do more events as well. I wanted to incorporate another fashion show somewhere down along the lines, and I wanted to get some of those women from the battered, the shelter to come down and to be, be involved in the fashion show, and where we do a full makeover and they get to join in, because you got to understand, just like when they say sometimes, like, it could be a lot worse. We look at our situation. You're having a bad day, whatever. You have lights on. You have a house to live in. There's people who don't have that, and I take, like, into those people a lot. Like, I'm drawn into those people. I'm drawn into the homeless people who live down on what we call Tent City in Las Vegas. And I take my family, and we do 100 sack lunches, and we take 100 sack lunches down to the homeless people down there. They, like, know my truck. When I pull up, it's like, there she goes, So, yeah, I really take into those type of people, because some people, this is how I say it, some people are bums and some people are homeless. And we know what the bums are. The bums are the ones that's going to beg you for the money because they want the beer, they want the drugs, they want things like that. But then you have actual homeless people. And some of these people, by force, are homeless because things were going fine for them. And then the economy crashed and they lost their jobs and things happened. And they were normal people living in apartments, homes, and now they're homeless. And it's completely out of their control. And my thing is, I've always said, what if I was that person? I would want somebody to help me. So that's why I contribute and I give my time and I do the things that I do, because that could very well be me at any moment, which, I would hope and pray it would never be, but there's a possibility. Anything can happen to any one of us. So that's why I'm so drawn to them. And, I just try to, I try to do good. And I feel like, when you give good out into the world, you get it back. And I don't do it for that reason, but I just know that it will always come back to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. No,
Thank you.
It's like, man, that's a beautiful thing. Like, wow. So aware, I think everybody has dreams, but, you're talking about a vision. You're executing a vision, and that's because you're wide awake and aware.
Yes.
As to what's going on.
And we talk about that all the time by you saying wide awake and aware. My father, oh, my gosh, he's on that every day. We talk about that. Are you awake, Melissa? Are you awake? Are you paying attention to what's going on? So we talk about this all the time. But, I will say that a lot of who I am comes from my parents and the type of people that they are. They're the type of people that they'll be like, oh, this is your friend? Oh, you don't have anywhere to stay? Come on, you can stay over here. That's how they are. So, when you come from that, that's pretty much how you're going to be. Like, you're either going to go left or you're going to go right. And my decision was to go right and to be right and to, I'm not perfect, by far, but I feel like I'm a pretty good person. So.
Well, I think that you are. The show improved. It's the show improved. It appears to me that your talk-to-do ratio is pretty much at 0. So when you talk about it, you're doing it. And
exactly.
And that's pretty amazing to talk. Man, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm a man, right? So I have this thing, and it's been ruined for me to talk to beautiful women. Most of them don't have much to say, No, and I get that a lot. I get some people are like, and that's just, from knowing who I am and who I'm connected to. A lot of people tell me, like, I would have never thought you were this person. I'm super cool, super down to earth, but, once again, I never believed in that people judge a book by cover, but they really, really do.
They really do. And a lot of people can't hold a conversation, and you're like, why? Like, think about how times are right now. Everybody communicates through text message. What happened to getting on the phone and talking to someone? You don't even know how I sound when I laugh. You don't know anything. You can't connect with me through a text message, because a text message, number one, doesn't even tell tone. And I need to know how you're saying something to me, because I may take it the wrong way. But yeah, it is like that, though. A lot of people and a lot of women are beautiful, and then they don't have anything to say. And I see this through Snapchat, through Instagram, just different things on different levels. You're like, wow, like she should have just stuck to taking pictures, posting pictures. That's it,
Yeah, I mean, I think, and not to get into the reality show thing, but one of the most interesting people that I had spoken with was Tammy Roman. I purposely don't watch like Love and Hip Hop and all that, because I'm retired military. I don't have patience for that garbage. But for her as a businesswoman to get Walgreens to pick up her private line nail polish in all of their stores worldwide, that made her interesting to me. What made you interesting to me was the fact that, okay, yeah, she's fly, but she is making a difference in other people's lives, like you discussed your program to help women get ready to go out. They've probably already been through classes to deal with their soft skills, their interviewing skills, but now they need to feel comfortable in themselves and presentable, and their attitude will change. And that's something that you're giving them, another brick in their foundation for success through what you do. So yeah, I'm just it's one thing to read it. It's another thing to feel the energy from the person who's through a conversation. So I really appreciate your openness, and I interview maybe 100 people a week, and only certain ones stick out, and this will be one.
I appreciate that, and it's just who I am, honestly. Like, that's why when you said we're just going to do it like this, that's completely fine with me, because I kind of go with the flow. I end up going off track when I get interviewed sometimes anyways. I'm like, am I talking too much? But I'm sorry.
No, I want you to talk. I just want to give you the platform to say what you need to say. And things that you talk about are important. It doesn't matter what I think is important. And what matters to me is that we get to know who Melissia is. And this is why we're talking to you. And when I get a chance to write this, I'm going to be like, man, it was a refreshing start to my day, to have this conversation with a human being that knew that they had made it through things, and they had their life experiences giving them confidence to say, okay, I have enough experience to help someone else. And yeah, I'm going to make my money, but I'm going to be a great citizen, a global citizen, and I'm going to champion these things and step out. And so, it's an honor, actually, to meet you, and thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Outside of, the money team, they see you at the BET Awards with, your pictures with Nate Jones and all that. You're talking about, the end of a relationship. How you have to be really a grown person and straight to be able to take an interpersonal relationship that doesn't exist anymore and continue in a business relationship. How does that work? And what was your progression as a person to come to the point where you're comfortable doing that?
Well, my thing is this, and a lot of people ask me, well, how are you, a lot of women who have, children with someone they're not with anymore. How do you and Floyd get along so well? How are you able to have this type of relationship with him? There came a point where I said, you know what, somebody has to be the bigger person. And the thing is that my child is involved. And I don't want my child to go through anything that's going to make them feel uncomfortable, that's going to make them sad or anything. So, I just got to a point where I was just like, look, like, we need to be on the same page, So, like I said, somebody got to put their pride to the side and just, really become, adults and, really look at the situation on what's important, and that's, if you have children or a child involved. So that's what we decided to do. I mean, I come from a 2-parent household, so I always had my mom and my dad. And that's how I envisioned myself, when I had children, but it didn't happen that way. And even if you do go into a relationship and you get married and you do have children, things can happen. You can get divorced and where you're not together anymore. So like I said, you have to put the kids first, because we as adults, we can all day go back and forth and forget you and I don't care and we could do that all day long and understand that maybe we don't mean certain things we're saying or whatever, but the kids don't understand that. When you're little, when you're a child, you don't understand that. So a lot of things begin to build up, hurt, anger, frustration, different things like that your children will carry with them for life. So when they get older, they'll be speaking on how my parents put me through X, Y, Z. So I never wanted to do that to my daughter. So we just, we sat down like adults and we talked one day and everything was good. And the thing is, you're going to do things when you're young. When I had my daughter, I was 20, and I believe Floyd was 23. So we're young, we're still young. Even though you're 20 and you're technically grown, you're paying your own bills, we're still young. We're young adults. So like I said, we just decided to be adults about the situation, and we have more than an amazing relationship. And so it just works out fine now. I mean, we're so funny together. Like, if you see us together, you're like, you guys are a fool. They're like, you guys need your own show, because we're so funny. But I can be myself around him as well. And that's, with anybody that I would end up being with in life. If I can't be me, then we can't be together, or we can't be friends, because I don't want to change who I am for anyone. For example, I was going to work with this lady that wanted to manage me not too long ago. I'd say last year sometime. And she told me, she said, "You're too accessible." That's what she told me. I said, well, what do you mean by that? She was like, well, for example, she said, we were at my store. She said, somebody walks in right now, they can just come in here and they can just talk to you and say hello to you. I said, of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. Why not? These are the people who support me. So if you support me, why wouldn't you be able to walk in my store? And if I'm here, come up to me and say hello to me, take a picture with me. She said, well, let me give you an example. You're like this Birkin bag you have right here. Everybody wants one, but everybody can't have it. I said, wow. You know what I told her? Right on the spot. I said, I don't think you and I are going to be able to work together. And she was like, well, I'm just saying. I mean, I just think that maybe you need to change, hang with a couple white friends and, just kind of trying to tell me what to do. I said, listen, my mother is white, okay? That's for starters. My mother is white. So I have no problems with any white people. I have white friends. Now, you may not see me in pictures with anybody because those aren't the people that I primarily hang with. But I don't have an issue with that. And I'm not going to act like I'm a Birkin bag and nobody can touch me. And I was like, this is just not going to work. I said, you're trying to change me into someone I'm not. This is not who I am. So you and I cannot work together. I'm sorry. And I had to be straightforward. But you know what? Anybody else that's trying to get into the industry or trying to go somewhere and be somewhere, they'll be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. So we parted ways, and she went her separate way. And I was like, you know what? When I find someone who can accept me for who I am, cool. But you're not going to come in and tell me what I need to do, and I'm too accessible. That's who I am. I'm that type of person where, yes, somebody can come in and they can say hello to me, and I'll take a picture with them. That's just how it works with me. So, but.
What a great life lesson right there.
Yeah.
What a great life lesson. Thank you.
So
thank you for sharing that. Man, I'm glad I took this interview today. I really no, I mean, I was going to have one of my associate editors handle it, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to this person because there's something beyond what's here in this bio, and I'm going to get to it, and I don't think anybody can get to it like I can get to it. So, you've been covered in the media for various reasons, and mostly on the, part of it on the sensationalism, and I'm not into that. I want to know, is there a question that as media collectively we have neglected to ask you, and you go, I wonder why nobody ever asks me this?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Because I'm sure they've asked everything.
But, yeah, I've gotten asked a lot of things. So not that I can think of off the top of my head.
What's your favorite conversational topic? Weird question, I know.
That's kind of hard. You know what? I kind of like to talk about relationships, only because I've only been in 2 serious relationships in my life. But I think it interests me because I've learned so much, you know what I'm saying, from both of the relationships that I was in. But I'm not like, see, like a lot of people are like, oh, I like to talk about politics and this and that. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not one of those people who's into that. So I like to talk about things that are going to connect you to people. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of just makes it flow or whatever. But, I mean, I just like to talk about things like that. Like, I'm not really off onto anything else. You know, I mean, when you work and you do business all day, you don't want to talk about business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of things. And I feel like I could just gravitate towards any type of conversation. But those are some of the things I like to talk about. And I guess because I feel like I've helped a lot of people as well, from guys to, women, and it's just easy for me, I guess.
Wow. Well, shoot. You want to write for me? You can write that for me. The Hype Magazine would love to have that. We don't have a relationship person. We have people who try, but I'm like, you're 21. How are you going to talk to my audience of 35? What is it that you're going to tell these people? Nothing. Because,
and the thing is, you can tell them something that they're going to go through before they even go through it, because you've been through it already. Exactly. But I will say this, though. Some people haven't had certain experiences in their relationship. You know why? Because it's been perfect. I'm not going to say perfect, but they're still with the same person. They didn't really go through some of the things you or, myself may have gone through, because, we dated a couple different people. You got some people that they've been with that same person. My parents, for example. My mom's been with my father since she was 16. They've been married like 40 years. So
that's a beautiful thing.
If I ask her something, she can kind of relate, but she can't relate to me because she hasn't gone through those same things. And I just feel like I can connect more just because I've seen a lot and I've been through, some things. So it just makes it easier to me.
My grandparents, rest in peace, both of them are gone this year, but they were married 63 years.
Wow.
And I used to ask my grandmother, how in the world do you stay with the same knucklehead for 63 years? And, she just grew up in a different world, and, where giving up wasn't done. You know what I mean? And he's a pastor, so, that's was a pastor, but crazy life. But to be able to sit back and analyze, okay, how do we handle this? And if this doesn't work, how do I continue to move forward as an individual, not depending on someone else? Those are the lessons I think that we need subject matter experts such as yourself. Hell, I've been through it. I probably was the worst husband in the world, but having had 4 wives, and certainly the common denominator was me. So, these type of things, I would love to have insight like that.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I love to give insight on certain things, and I don't know how I feel like but I know so much about it. But when I tell you, I have so many friends, guys, they call me all the time, like, Melissa, let me tell you what I just did, Melissa. I messed up. Blah, blah, blah. What would you do? If it was me, you know what I'm saying, if you were standing in my shoes, you know what I'm saying, what would you do? Because you're a woman, so give me a woman's point of view. And I do it all the time. I have one friend in particular. He's so funny because it could be the smallest thing. It could be something that she did. And he's like, well, do you think I should be mad about it? I'm like, no, like, you're just wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to be mad for? So it is so funny because I could just talk about that all day long. It's something that I gravitate towards. And I like helping people, though. You know what I'm saying? So if I can help, and it makes me feel good because they're like, you really helped me out with that one. I'm like, no problem. And the thing is I'm not even in a relationship. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like sitting back but I'm learning things from them as well. So it just ends up working out that way.
So is the most satisfying part, would you say, is you're having these conversations, and then, as time progresses, you see positive changes in the people that you've engaged with on that level?
Definitely. And that's the most rewarding part about it, like just being able to see that, you did help someone in some way, shape, or form. I feel like my purpose here on earth, is to do what I do, but I feel like that I'm here to help. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if it's the homeless. It doesn't matter if it's the women at the women's shelter. I feel like that's my niche. That's my thing in life, is to help. So, and I feel that in my heart, and I know it. So that's why I just, I hold that close to me, and I know that's my gift.
Aware. People wake up. We throwing an alarm clock in the graveyard right now with Miss Melissia Renee for show, getting some life lessons. And, I'm quiet. I'm not saying anything because I'm really interested. You're really holding my attention, and I'm really glad that the kid is. I'm like, man, it probably is, something you say, well, this should be basic stuff, but nah. Like, I'm military. I've been military since I was 18, so my social skills are different than other people. And so, I just look at it, my ex-mother-in-law, she was like, you're just too hardcore. Nobody wants to be around you. I'm like, is that bad? I said, okay, the common denominator, once again, the common denominator is me. So I'm sitting here just like soaking everything in. It's an interview, but it's a conversation, and I'm learning. At the time, I'll take advantage of the time that I have with you. Shoot, I ain't stupid. Anyway.
Can we revert back to one thing that you were saying real fast?
Please, let's go.
Remember you said you were asking it was your grandmother, right? You were like, how could you put up with him for so long? And I wanted to tell you because my mind was going. But I think the problem is, because nowadays, it's like people don't stay in relationships long. And I know what it is. It's just easier to go to the next. But as far as what you were saying with your grandmother, I think the thing is that with men, I think it's harder for them to be with a person for a very, very long time, because I think, men, they look, their eyes wander, whatever. But women, I think that we could look at a man and just still be like, God, I love him, no matter what the situation is. It's, 40 years in. But I think that a man should always do what he did in the beginning to get his woman and keep her throughout the relationship. So if you bought flowers for her in the beginning to get her, you should be buying those flowers throughout the relationship and continue to do that. You don't have to do it every day, but, if that was something that was, a key in you getting her and making her feel a certain type of way, that's something you should continue to do. And a lot of men fall off track with that. It's like, now I got you. Now it's whatever. So then, a person could, start to lose interest and, well, he's not doing the same things that he did before. And so that's how I think, relationships get messed up. But I just wanted to touch on that. Okay.
No, that's dope. You know what? Because I was thinking about the song. I don't remember who wrote the song, but the same thing it took, the same thing it took to get your babies. It's going to take the same thing to keep her. And, and I
don't even know that song.
It's an old joint. But you sparked it, and then listening to my last wife, she said, and excuse my language, she said, damn it, it's not the money, it's not any of that, it's the small stuff,
Yep.
Like, I used to bring her lunch, and then, she would be the first person I talked to in the morning when I woke up, and when we were dating, courting, and she would be the last person I talked to at night, et cetera, et cetera. Just those things that we seem to lose out. We get so caught up in ourselves and what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
We forget that our support, that our backbone is over there saying, hey, what about me? Just give me a little something. So, okay, there it is. My failures in public, all good. I'm not even going to edit it out. But, just talking to you is just, it's got my mind. I told you it's going to be a conversation.
That's right.
It's different. I'm enjoying myself extremely. I've learned a lot. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected in my over-exuberance to have a conversation?
No, not really. I mean, we touched on pretty much, my boutique and where I kind of come from, my background. I mean, I like to answer the question. So, I mean, if there's something you wanted to ask me, I'm completely open to that too. But I mean, like I said, I'm just the type of person where I like for people to really connect to me and get to know me, because so many people, and I never knew this until I've actually sat down and talked to people, that they really felt a certain type of way about me. Like, I feel like guys, girls, a lot of men too. I noticed this with men. Like, let's just say I'm out. Like, for example, I was in L.A. and I was at this place called Katana. It's a little restaurant in L.A. I love to go to, and it's pretty popular.
That's
a lot of people
home.
go. Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. So I was at Katana, and I just noticed, like, when guys talk to me who know who I am, it's like they're nervous. Like, you can see it in, like, their voice and, like, their body language and everything. And I'm like, why? But once they talk to me, like, you're so cool, I didn't think you were like that. So I'm like, I want to know, how do people perceive me? Because I try to connect with people, like, on my Snapchat, for example. I'm so crazy and, like, silly. I know I'm funny, because I laugh at myself. So that's how I know I'm funny. But, like, I connect with everybody through my Snapchat and stuff. I love Snapchat more than I like Instagram, because, Instagram, you could post a picture, whatever, but then you get all the negative comments and all the the bullshit that I don't want. I don't want to see that. So Snapchat is a lot different, but I connect with people and I get message after message, DMs, like, you're so funny. And so, I mean, is it just those people who know me now just through Snapchat? Or, like, I just want to know, how do people perceive me? I want to ask a person that. Like, if you see me, what would you think about me? Or what do you think about me? Because I get that all the time, and I'm like, well, how do you perceive me? Like, what do you think I am? Do you think I'm, like, this mean person? Do you think I'm stuck up? Do you think I'm bougie? Like, I just want to know. I really want to know that.
It really concerns you as an individual.
Before you talked to me and you seen my picture and you read a little bit about me, how did you perceive me? Like, what did you think you were going to get?
I didn't know. I have the benefit. I have the benefit of being able to present a blank canvas, and then we start painting strokes. So every conversation for me, every new person to me is a blank canvas waiting for a masterpiece to be painted. So I didn't know. I had never heard of you, to be honest. And so I spoke with some of the ladies, some of my editors in New York, and I said, hey, are you familiar with this person? Yeah. And that's all they would really say, because I don't do gossip. I always send the reality show interviews to one of my junior editors or something. I don't care about the drama. I'm drama-free at this point.
Me too. Definitely. That's why I said I would never do a Boxer Wives or anything. They try to get me on something like that. And I'm just like, no, that's not going to happen, because I'm not the girl that's going to be throwing drinks at the next woman. And, I just feel like so many of the women that are on these shows and stuff, like, for example, where we're talking about perceiving people, you perceive them to be a certain type of way. And I've met a lot of them, and they're super cool. So I just think it's sad that they make black women out to be so evil and so mean, and we can't compliment each other, and we don't have anything good to say about one another. And that's the part that I don't like about it. Yeah, that's the part I don't like about it.
I can't stand it. Well, just a quick answer. I think what made me want to take the conversation personally, I got beyond the pictures. I get pictures all the time. So the beauty part. But there was something in the eyes that the airbrush couldn't, take away, that said, okay, intelligence and depth. And then I got an opportunity to read the black and white, and I said, okay, yeah, this one I'm taking because I want to get to know this person. She is a boss, yes, but also behind the boss is a person who's got a real story, going from the streets to the suites kind of thing. Not saying that you was a hustler or anything like that, but streets to the suites, meaning, just you went from 0 to 60, and you hit certain benchmarks in between, getting from point A to point Z, and okay, now we have a story. We have a conversation that I can carry on. I don't know how long we've been talking. We've been talking almost an hour.
42 minutes, yes.
Yes. So my interviews, my conversations, generally, I'm done with someone normally in 20 minutes.
Wow.
So, I don't say that to blow you up. That's not blowing smoke. I'm like literally, I have a timer at 20 minutes that goes off, and I close out. I figure out how to close out, but I can't close out because this is a conversation that needs to go on. And I think maybe if we can work it out, maybe we could do a series with you, and I'm gonna send freaking cameras to Vegas.
I know, right?
No, because you know what? I want people to see that, here's somebody who's been through it, who has earned it, and is really living the to whom much is given, much is required. And I think that our celebrities, especially our black celebrities, they want to be anonymous as they're giving, because it's not about giving and all that good stuff and getting the accolades. But I think we need to send a visual to those who are coming up and who will make that crossover transition, from, the C list to the B list to the A list.
Right.
And they become too hard for themselves, to coin Kevin Gates' phrase, or they become too good for themselves, so nobody else is good enough, and they forget that you have a responsibility to humanity as you grow and have experience, and that there are people, as we get older and we're not able to take care of ourselves, if we haven't trained the next generations, that we as elders become jeopardized because our care, our political system, et cetera, we don't spark thinking minds. And like I said, I'm about throwing an alarm clock into the graveyard and waking up the dead. That's what I do. And getting an opportunity to, I ain't trying to be nosy and hold you up all day, but I just want to make sure, and I'm going to be on your team, like, I need to get her, if she's going to sneeze next week and she knows it, I need to know about it. So that we can make sure that the Hype magazine, can give you some support. I just want to see
I appreciate that.
See you continue to succeed, and as one of the leading media outlets out here for urban media at this point, it's my responsibility as well to give you a platform and to give everyone who has really something to say a platform, not just the BS, but a real platform. And your message is something that I want to share. And, your actions are something that I want to highlight and make certain that, hey, man, we got it. She's young, she's black, she's beautiful. But beyond that, she's awake and aware. And this is how she's dealing with it and preparing. Man, come on. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about.
I'm down for the series. I can come back, and I love that, because I don't know if you've ever heard of these people. It's called, I believe they were an internet radio show. They were based in D.C., and they're called RIP Radio Monday Nights, I believe is what they're called. I believe that's the name of RIP Radio. But I've been dealing with them back and forth since 2012. And they just hit FM radio, and I was their first guest the other day. It was last Monday.
Awesome.
And I did an interview live with them on the radio, and they were so happy because they were like, you've been supporting us, since day one, so it's only right that we had you as the first guest on the show. But, I love that, I love the fact that I can be like, wow, I've already been knowing you guys for 3 years or, whatever, and you guys are still around. You guys are still doing your thing and actually doing better. And, they're supporting me. I'm supporting them. I love that. I love those type of relationships. it's just better. It's a better connection. It's a better feel. So, yeah, I'm definitely down for the series and coming back and talking to me again. If you guys are in Vegas, come down to the store, do an interview with me, whatever. I'm cool with all that.
Oh, yeah. I will fly in for that. We'll come down and I'll bring we'll arrange a full crew.
There you go.
To come down. I mean, we have multiple television distribution deals, so it's not going to be a waste of time. It's not, just something that's going to go on a blog and be forgotten about it.
Right.
I've got 120 million households that we can tell this story to, and I want to. So I'm going to work with your team and see what we can come together, and I'll let the network know what I have in mind. We're on the CW on Sundays in certain regions, but we're also we're on direct, and we're everywhere. Let me just put it that way. We're everywhere, and it's just it's brand new for us. So this is us elevating, and it would be a great. This would be a great series. Okay.
It definitely would. Yep.
Let's let everybody know how to get in touch with you and find Divana Love when they're in Vegas out there. Don't blow your money at Circus on the skee ball machine. Go check out Divana Love. Sisters, go get your nails worked on. For real. They do it big out there. Let's let them know the vital statistics.
Okay, so basically you guys can check me out at Melissia Rene, and that's on Instagram. And then as far as the boutique, you can find us at www.shopdivanalove.com. And the easiest way to see everything is just to go to Divana Love Boutique on Instagram, because I post everything. The minute we get something in, I post it on there. And, of course, it goes to the website, so you can purchase from me if you're not, locally here in Las Vegas. And that's pretty much my platform. Oh, and don't forget to check out MelissiaRenee.com, and that will have everything from all the interviews I do, any red carpet events, any upcoming events. That's the best way for you to find me.
Awesome. I want to thank you so much. Everybody, Melissia Renee, mother, entrepreneur, a wide awake, aware person. We're going to be following her, and we're going to work this out and bring you more. And let's highlight the success story of a young black woman who has the intestinal fortitude, to step to the forefront and share her experiences and to take on new challenges. Look out for Divana Love, maybe two. We're going to call it the next one. I want to call it Divana Love 2.
Divana Love 2.
I know that's kind of cliche, but I'm old like that.
You never
it's coming
know.
soon. Coming soon. Second location. So she's growing, she's expanding, and she's reaching out. Also, check out one of her pet projects, not pet project, but something that's near and dear to her. The Shade Tree. I'm all about protecting our women. And so we need to support that. All right, go get it. Hype Magazine live sessions. Miss Melissia Renee. We're out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.